Well, hello, everybody.
Hi. Hi.
This is so crazy. This is going to be our 5781 clergy team. So,
Woo!
wow. I know that we're already missing Rabbi Rossoff. It's so crazy that today is the first day of this new clergy team. And Rabbi Singer, we're so excited not only to have you with us today, but also knowing that you're going to bring something beautiful to us. And I love that as you are coming into this new home of Temple Sholem of Chicago, that you're beginning with a blessing, with Birkat Habayit, with a blessing for a new home. So, Rabbi Singer, would you start us off?
Absolutely. Well, I'm so thrilled to be starting at this place that I am just feel incredibly grateful to call my new home. Not just this new apartment, not just this new street, but this new community. And I'm thinking about what does it mean to try to make your home feel Jewish, because I've literally moved into a new home. And Judaism, Jewish history provides us with a bunch of different methods to making your home feel Jewish. And one of those is the mezuzah, which I'd love to talk about at some point, but I'm not going to talk about today. But it was awesome when I got off my elevator for the first time and I walked into my hall and I saw two mezuzahs in my hallway, and I just felt this like immediate sense of excitement and relief. I was just like, yes, my people are here. And that was really comforting. But there's this other tradition called Birkat Habayit, or the blessing of the home, which is a blessing that some people hang in their homes. I'm looking specifically at one by the artist. It's Bat Sarah or Bat Sarah Press. I believe she's a Chicago artist, and she decorated this blessing that people hang in their homes. And the words of the blessing are, I'll just read them in English: "Let no sadness come through this gate. Let no trouble come to this dwelling. Let no fear come through this door. Let no conflict be in this place. Let this home be filled with blessing, with love, and with peace." So it's a very beautiful blessing. And I think what's interesting about it is that it's fairly recent. The Hebrew is modern Hebrew, so they know that it can't have been created that long ago. And they actually have no idea where this blessing is from. They can't locate it to an original source. There are different debates, maybe from the 1800s, maybe from the 1900s. It was seen on a few different amulets. But to me, that's really exciting because it gives more space to rewrite this blessing a little bit, which is a thing that I think Reform Jews, or at least I as a Reform Jew, really like doing. I really like rewriting and rethinking blessings so that I feel like they fit really well into my life. Because as beautiful as this blessing is, I think it's a little unrealistic, and it places a lot of pressure. To have a home that has no fear or no sadness in it is, I think, pretty much impossible. So I've been trying to think about, if I were to rewrite this blessing for my new Jewish home, how would I rewrite it? And how would I acknowledge that there can be fear and sadness and strife and that kind of thing, and that there can also be space for God, and that God can be present in the home alongside those negative feelings and emotions that sometimes come into a home. So my blessing for my new home is, dear God, please equip me with the courage and bravery to navigate fear and sadness when they inevitably come into my home. And also allow me to experience joy and experience the excitement of building a new Jewish home, and when it is healthy and safe, inviting a lot of new friends and new family into it. And so I'm wondering, what are the blessings that you are hoping for? If you were to rewrite this blessing, or if you were to add something into this blessing for your own home, what would that look like?
Wow. I love that prompt, Rabbi Singer. Yeah. And especially as you are also today being July 1st, your new home in your new office at Temple Sholom. There are much fewer people in the hallway now. It'll get a little busier, I promise. But one of the blessings that I'm thinking about is how Judaism enters our homes right now. Because before the time of COVID, Judaism entered my home through the people who entered my home, through the groups of people I had, the Shabbat dinners, hosting different groups of people in my home. And now, in a way, I have hundreds and hundreds of people entering my home each and every day. Every Friday night, having all of these people here in my space with me. And so I think it's also about how we set aside those times that we allow Judaism to enter our home. So thinking about just a few days ago when we had Havdalah and had our Pride Havdalah hosted by Temple Sholom and so many other organizations around our city, allowing for that time to say, I'm going to put everything else away and I'm going to have a really Jewish time. Even though I haven't left my house in a couple of days even, that this time is set aside. So my blessing that I would add on to your beautiful blessing would be allow me to have this space not only be a space in the physical world, but a space in time that allows Judaism and goodness in.
Thanks, Rabbi. So I was thinking about this, Rena, you moving here, and I did this journey about 4 or so years ago when I came from New York City, just like you. And one of the aspects that I was ruminating about is that I've never owned a home of my own. Literally, since I moved out of my childhood home, I've been in a couple dorm rooms, and every place I've been in, we've rented, including as a family now with children, we're still renters. So there's this element of never feeling like where we are is really ours. And I've often come into the habit when we move into these different apartments of only doing a few things that are rather superficial because it's not permanently ours, and I don't want to have to deal with changing it back. But during this quarantine, I found myself becoming more and more attached to our home in Lakeview here. And even though we're renters, I ended up putting some artwork up that I hadn't had up in a while that was sitting in a closet, and we organized the place a little better, and we just did these extra things that we let be because it wasn't ours. But during this time, we've really made it more of a home for ourselves. We even renewed our lease. That helped. And it's been joyous. So when you were saying that blessing, Rena, for me, the words that came to my mind were, bless these walls and may they become us. Because I want our walls, which are covered with art and a million other things and visuals that really make us feel comforted and make us feel like it's who we are, that I pray the walls around me in my home not just become us and who our family is and represent us, but that they are becoming of us. That our home reflects a beautiful, good-hearted, humorous family, and that we are surrounded by those images, and that when we are able to have guests back in our home, it's not only something that feels like it's very much us, but it's also becoming of us. So thank you for sharing that blessing. Welcome.
So beautiful. I love it. Rabbi Singer, I love your blessing. I love the way that you said, like, may you have the strength, or may to deal with the strife as it inevitably will come, but still have that abundant joy. That just feels so right. It feels like that's what we deal with all the time, is to be able to have the strength and courage to deal with strife, and that actually from the way that we deal with that strife, that's sometimes where the joy comes from. And Rabbi Gelman, being such a host, and I know that when we moved into this house, we wanted to move into a place that had really easy parking, so anybody could come at any time. We wanted a place that had an open plan, so that floor plan, so that people could come in. We could rearrange the space always. We wanted to be able to have that kind of a home also. So Rabbi Gelman, I get it, that notion of, in some ways now, even those of us who have the smallest bit of space, we can still have hundreds of people in our home right now. And what a blessing that is, especially as we do that in sacred time, like around Shabbat and Havdalah. And Cantor Ben David, I'm so grateful that you are making your home yours, and that it is decorated with you, because your family, the humor, the joy, the laughter, that's your family. And the way that you decorate your home, I love that that's become a part of the conversation, even at the Oneg on Shabbat, wanting to be able to see even more of your walls. So I love that this is the kind of home that we as clergy are able to welcome our entire community to, because the way in which we not only decorate our home, but make our home ours, is the way that then we're able to become the people who we are, then to be able to be the clergy that we need to be for this extraordinary community. And I think about, that we've put it to music now. Just before we begin Havdalah, a lot of us, we have that beautiful teaching from Esther, from the scroll of Esther, La Yehudim Haita Ora, that in times of old, that Jews were a source of light, and Ken Tihei Lanu, like may that be so for all of us. And for me, like if that could be the Birkat Habayit, if that could be the blessing for my home, like Dayenu, that would be enough. Because I want to be able to bask in the light that our people have brought to our own communities, to the larger community of humanity. I love that. And Rabbi Singer, in some ways, it ties me back to your teaching or your blessing for your house, because I don't want a home free of strife. I want to be able for our boys to know what strife is, what good fights people are fighting, and to be part of that, because that's also part of how we not only are a light, but that's also how we actually learn from others who are great sources of light, that in times of trouble, we gravitate toward light, because we learn from it. We see things for the truth that it is. And sometimes with that comes strife, but from that strife comes light and joy. And so may that be so for all of us. And Rabbi Singer, we are so grateful that you are now officially part of our clergy team. Brucha haba'ah, welcome to you. We are so grateful.
Thank you. A big amen to everything you all said.
Amen.
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 Amen.